Hey there, so dear, welcome again to Write Dynamic, my channel. In today's lecture we'll be learning about constants in PHP. Okay, so let's start today's lecture. And first of all, let's talk about what is a constant. Okay, so what does a constant actually mean and how to define a constant in PHP. Okay, so as the name itself says, a constant is simply a thing, a value or a thing that cannot change throughout the life cycle of your program, throughout the life cycle of your applications. So why do you even need a constant? So let's just say you need to store the data of your user. In this case we will simply say user, and you need to store the name of a user, and you want to send it to someone else or somewhere else, but you want to make sure the data shouldn't get manipulated by any hacking attempts or any exploit. So you can use it as a constant. Okay, and again, a constant is more performant and faster than variable. The variable, as the name itself says, a variable is simply a container or a thing whose value can vary, able to vary, whereas a constant is simply a container or a thing whose value cannot change. So let's talk about defining a constant. To define a constant, you would be using define function, and as you can see, it takes two parameters, two arguments. One is name, another is value. Okay, so you can put the name of your constant here. In this case we will simply say name or username. So this is the name of our constant by which we will be calling it, we will be identifying it. Next is the value. You can simply put your value here. Let's say Alex, Richard, or something else, whatever you want. That's it. We have our constant now. To access this constant, you just need to write its name and no dollar symbols or any other thing. Just write down the name and that's it. Here you are referring that constant. In short, you are referring the value that is stored in that constant. Okay, so let's just echo it and type username, and here you go, F5 Alex Richard. You can see it. We can see the value stored in this username. Okay, so now if you try to redefine it, let's just say we try to redefine it again. So if I do it Alex Richard and F5 it, yeah, you can see it. I tried to define username again with some different value than the previous one, but it didn't change. The value still is Alex Richard. As I said, the value wouldn't get manipulated again. You can only store the value once, and that's all, once and for all. The value won't be changing again and again. So again, when you will use constant, it's totally up to you. When you want the value to persist and doesn't change in any condition, that's of course holds some security purposes, and of course a constant is simply more performant than a variable. So it's totally up to you. Most of the time the variable does the job, but somewhere you will need a constant. Okay, so that's it for today's lecture. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to learn PHP. Thank you very much.